Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another puzzle with Megan 033. This is not a Fog of War one, which is what we tend to do most of, but they've got multiple series that they do. Fog of War 1 is the ones that I really love doing, but need to break away from the mold every now and again. Anyway, this one is called Four Killer Nights. Now, this is another series that Megan 033 has done. I don't believe I've done any of the other ones. I think there's one Killer Night, two Killer Night, three Killer Night, or the other ones. This is the latest, so this is the one I'm going to focus on for the moment. And if we like it, we can go back and do the other ones as well. But let's just jump into the rules for this one. And it's a fairly, I won't say a simple puzzle, but it's, because I don't know, I haven't done it yet, but it's simple rule sets, which is kind of nice every now to jump into those instead of having, like I said, 10 different rule sets that you have to compete with as you solve your puzzle. So anyway, let's jump into the rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. You've got cells served by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. So let's say whatever this digit is, none of these could be the same value because they all are seen by this digit. A knight moves in an L shape. Then we got digits in a cage do not repeat and sum to the clue in the top left. So you can look at this 13 cage. Whatever these three digits are, when you add them together, they equal 13. That's it. So there you go. Two fairly normal variant rules. And let's just jump in this one, see if we can get it figured out. Of course, the link will be in the description below for y'all to play along. So the question's going to be, and it always is, where do we start? Now, the first thing I saw was this 7 cage. We know this has to be a 1, 2, 4. It's the only way you can make 7 in 3 cells. Now, this 8 cage, also there's a 1 in it, because you have to use a 1 to make an 8 when you're using 3 cells. Now, that kind of creates a little X-wing, but it's off kilter from our regions. So it just means that none of these can be 1s. Oh, actually, these two can't be 1s either way, because if this is a 1, it sees all of these and it breaks it. If this is a 1, it sees all of these and breaks it. So these are, and I'm going to leave this in this way for the moment, even though I don't typically like marking cross region here like this, but hopefully we have options set in here that will allow us to get what these can be instead of having this type of marking. So what does that do for us? Well, what are the options here? We know there's only 2 ways to make 8 in 3 cells. It's 1, 2, 5, or 1, 3, 4. We already said this one can't be a 1. And actually, it can't be a 2 or a 4 either, because this one sees all of these. So this is just a 3 or a 5. So let's get rid of those other markings here. So if this is a 3, this is a 1, 4. If this is a 5, this is a 1, 2. So we do have options placed in. And we actually have a 1, 2, 4 triple here, looking over to the 7 cage, which means this could be 3, 5. Oop, I'm on the wrong thing. 3, 5, or 6. This can't be 6, because that would force this to be 1, and that sees both of these. Okay, so this is a 3, 5. So we have a 3, 5 pair and a 1, 2, 4 triple. And they look over at the 7 cage. So this can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Therefore, it just has to be 6, and this has to be 1. That 1's going to tell us this is 1, and this is 1. Okay, there's something. Now we're down to a 2, 4 pair and a 3, 5 pair. Now this 11 cage is slightly reduced in its option, but not by much. Well, I guess we know that these 2 digits are different. And we can say something about this as well, because if this is a 3, this is a 4. If this is a 5, that's a 2. So that's a 2, 4 pair there as well. Okay. What does that say about any of these other boxes we have? Well, if we know, maybe we should color a little bit. Let's do that. Let's do blue and orange. See if that gives us anything. Because these cannot be the same digits. So what does that say? anything? We know that one of these is the other 2-4, and it's orange. I just punched my mic. Don't know if you heard that or not. Hopefully not, but hey, whatever. Oh, what else do we know? Well, is there anything? I don't think we can rule out a 1 in this 9, because it could still be a 1 here. These 3s and 5s, we don't quite have enough there. Is this 13 reduced by the fact that we can't have a 1? It's bare minimum. Well, it couldn't be 2, 3, 4 because it would break that, and obviously it doesn't add to 13 anyway. Is it possible to reduce it further, though? Let's say this was a 2. What would this be? Is there a definitive that it would be? If that's a 2, the remaining we would have would be 3, 4, and 5, which is 12. So this actually would just be 3, 4, and 6. That works. If this was a 4, on the other hand, this could have 2 and a 3 in it with an 8, or it could have probably another combination there. So that's not that great. Can we think about how the possibilities of these oranges would work as it relates to this guy? Because if we can, we might be able to reduce this 8 down to something. Because removing 2 and or 4 would definitely give us a little bit of a reduction. What about 1s? Oh, 1s. Let's look at the obvious here. None of these can be 1s. These by Sudoku, and this by the Knight's Move. So this is a 1. So therefore, this is not... Okay, there we go. Let's get rid of that. This is the other 2-4. So you've got a 2-4 pair. What does that do for us? Or what are these two? If these were if these were 4s, they look into this region, and this one looks into here. It would force a 4 onto this cage, which does not work. So therefore, these can't be 4. These have to be 2s. These have to be the 4s. Okay, then that makes us 3 and 5. Then we know there's a 2 on the 8, because, again, the 2s see all this. This is a 2-6 pair. What else can we then say? The 1, it's one of these 2. 2s, not super helpful at that point. Same with the other 1s here. All right. Now, okay, now we do know there is not a 1 or a 2 in this 13. So what do we say this had to be? 3, 4, 6? Right? Because 3, 4, 5 would be the bare minimum. That's 12. So this has to be a 3, 4, 6. And we just said there's a 2, 6 down here. So this is not 6. This is 6. That 4 sees this. This is 3 and 4. Okay, there we go. A little something. The 5? I don't really see that. What can this be? think we have a better understanding now. We can't ever put a 3 or a 4 in it because they both see both these by combination of Sudoku and Knight's moves. So this could very well be an 8-1. It can't be 2-7. It can't be 3-6, and it can't be 4-5. So it just is a 1-8. And the 1 sees this, so that's 8 and 1. No 1s in any of those. That was... didn't do a lot, but, you know, it's still against something. None of these are 1s. What about this 11 clue? Is it starting to reduce its possibilities? Because it can be 9-2. It cannot be 8-3. It could be 7-4. Cannot be 6-5. This can't be 2. Therefore, that can't be 9. Oh, that can't be 4 either. So this can't be 7. So we get another 2-4 up here. I wonder if we do need to continue with our coloring. As we had started, it might help us out. We know that none of these can be blue, but one of these must be. 2. It's one of those. Okay, that wasn't all that helpful. The 6. Oh, we already know the 6 is down here, sorry. What else do we have that's new? Like this 8 clue. Only sees stuff that essentially we already know about. What else do we have? 9 clue well, yeah, we can say it does not have a 2 on it. Because this can't be a 2 by Sudoku. You can look at either one if you like. And neither of these can be 2, because it would see both these. So this is not a 2, 3, 4. So it must have a 1 on it, which means this is 1. That's 1. That's 1. And do we get any more out of that? Probably not. Not at the moment. Okay, so it has a 1 on it. It does not have a 2 on it. So it has to be a 1, 3, 5. Now, how about this 15? No, not quite yet, because it still could be 9, 6, or 8, 7. We don't have enough yet to rule that down. And I guess we know one of these is a 1. Do you have any further Sudoku we can work on? We know none of those can be 2s, so it means there's a 2 in here and there's a 2 here, so that's an X-wing on 2s, which means one of these is. 3s can't be in any of those, but one of these still has to be. We don't have anything further with 4s, except for these must be. Okay. Getting there. This can't be 6, this can't be a 6, so this is a 6. Okay, again, it's just looking in the right places sometimes. None of these are 6s, that's not a 6, so one of these is. None of these can be 6s. Neither of these two can be a 6 either because of that knight's move to here, so this is 6. That 6 sees this, that's a 2 and a 6. No. That's a 2, that's a 6. Another misclick again. We go further with our 6s now. Yes, this is 6. One of these is. Those is. That's not too useful at the moment. Okay. What else we got now that we put those 6s in there? Let's see. What clues haven't we used? Okay, this now cannot be the 9-6, so this is the 8-7. So that's something there. Means that none of these can be 8s. Not quite enough, because we could still put an 8 here, and this could be something different. this is the only, well, these two are the only cages we have left over that need to be really worked out. And after that, it should just be Sudoku and Knight's moves. So let's kind of go through and see if we just haven't missed something that we could pick up. Now the twos can't be in any of those, so one of these is. But again, that's about as far as that one takes us. The threes have to be in one of these. And then one of these. That can't be three. So these are threes, which removes this from a three, which makes this a three. Okay. We already know there's a three down here. We're getting a little bit here and there. Can we do anything now with our fours? Not really. So we already knew one of those was. That can't be. No, actually, we do have fours. Look at fours. None of those can be four. These two can't be because of that. So this one is a four. That forces this to be a four. Get rid of those. Now none of these can be fours, which means we can't put an 8 in here anymore. And since we just determined that none of these can be 8s and now this can't be an 8, this is, then we know that one of these is an 8. Okay. Now this one's getting closer to being useful, but not quite yet still. Can we go elsewhere? What about fours? Yes, this is a 4. None of those are 4, so this is a 4. All of these are outs as 4s. This is a 2-4 pair. And did we have more? No, we said one of these was a 4 earlier. That's still the case. It just creates our X-Wing. So let's move on to some other digits now that might be more restricted since we've put in some extra values. I thought a 6 might be useful there, but it doesn't really seem to be. The 8s were the one that we started on, but couldn't quite make further use of. Okay, so let's see if we can do something maybe with these guys now. We do actually have a 2-4 pair here to go with all of this. So maybe there's something along this column that we could use. 3 has multiple options. We don't pretty much have any 5s, so the 5 can go anywhere. The 7s and 9s, we don't have any. Okay, so that's not going to get us anywhere. Okay. Oh, is this just a 1-2 pair? 1s and 2s, yeah, so it is 1-2 pair. So let me change that, and we can say that this has to be a 4, no, a 6-9 pair. Now, does that do anything for us? Doot, 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 doot. Don't see it doing anything, yeah. Okay. So what do we have left over here? Gotta put a 3 somewhere. It can go anywhere. So this could just be 3-9. Or it could be 5-7. Utter trash. Yeah, that doesn't rule out anything there, does it? Maybe something along one of these rows is going to be more useful. 9 somewhere. We know the 9 is over there on that one. can't rule anything out because we don't have any 9s to work with. No. Okay. There must be some more Sudoku we can do here to move things along. Again, just have to find where it is. Let's see. Is this a 2-4 pair here? Or is it just, no, there's a 4 in here. We just know there's a 4. Okay, I thought we had a 2-4 going on there, but it doesn't look like we do. I was going to say the 5 might have looked onto some of this stuff, but it doesn't seem to do so. Okay. Knights moves, something. Help me here, guys. No. Okay. That's how you want to be about it. I really just don't see what this next move is, so I'm missing something. Probably one little item that's looking at us. That'll kind of clear everything else out once I see it. Come on now. Ones we already knew about. 2s I think we have fairly locked down. There's some options, but not a ton. Where the heck are you? Now, it could very well be a coloring situation where I didn't continue through with it, but I feel like we've gotten to a point where we have enough the 2s or the 4s given, so the coloring is not going to help us that much. Yeah, again, getting stumped out here. Well, I'd say not for no reason, but can we rule out any of these other possible options? Let's see. You know, one of these is an 8. It was running smoothly. It has ceased to do so. This can't be a 2. Okay, there it was. My knight's move. This has to be 1 and 2, which means this is 1. Okay. Again, having to find that little thing is a big help. And I don't know that it necessarily gets us too much further here, but it might do something. We already knew a lot of this stuff. It's probably another situation similar to that, where we just have to find where the possibilities are and then see if a knight's move removes options. So it's just the 1s and the 2s that we added a little bit of information for. Whew. Okay. Again, we're left with some clues that we have pretty much everything solved on them. Just have to find the one thing that says this can't go here or here. Okay, what are these guys? Let's just get to marking then, I guess. That's not an 8. That's not a 5. Problem is we don't have any real digits of 5, 7, 8s, 9s. There's very little we're going to get out of this. 5s. I guess 5 go in one of these, so none of these are 5s. So this is a 5. Okay. Means that's not. This can't be a 5 because it would see both of those. This is a 3, 5 pair. Okay. A little bit of movement. This is taking longer than it should, I'm sure. Now we do have that 2, 4 pair. So this would be a 7, 9 pair, which means this is not 7. This is not 5, so that just forces this to be a 5. There we go. Let's get rid of that marking there. We don't need it. Alrighty. Now that still hasn't actually solved anything in terms of our killer cages here, which is interesting. Okay, let's look further. So no one of these is an 8, so none of these are 8, so this is. That's not. One of these two is. It can't be this one because of the knights, so this is 8. This is 3. These are not 8s, so this is. Nope, just that one. There we go. That 8 removes this from an 8, so this is 8. Okay. These have to be from 7 and 9. This is 7 or 9. We can color now some of these other things as well. See if these find homes elsewhere. But before we get into that, we need to have a 2 up in here somewhere. And then what else? These are 7s, 8s, and 9s. This doesn't look like we can necessarily say which one's which, though. You know, there's a 6 in one of these. But we more or less knew that. None of these can be 3s, so one of these is. The 5s can't do much in here. I'm looking in this region, really, at the moment. See if there's anything there. It doesn't really appear to be, though. So what else do we have? Oh, I don't know why this one is being so nasty to me. Again, 1s are done. Oh, this 2 sees that one, so we can get some more 2-age in. Can we go any further with it? No, I think we're down to our X-wing of 2s. Threes don't look like they're doing too much for us. 4s we already have down to X-wing. 5s. Again, nothing really. 6s. Again, nothing really. We don't have 7s or 9s until we try to maybe color some things. So the remainder here is going to be possibly 8s. But it's into an X-wing as well. So what is this guy? Possibility of 3, 5, 7, and 9, of course. That doesn't give us anything, looking at it in that way. Okay. Got 2, 4 pairs. We already knew about that. Do we just break down and get back to coloring? Because we have a bunch of 7, 9s. So let's look at those. See if they help us any. Well, this has to be an orange 7, because none of these can be. So that is our 7, 9 pair. We could have got that here as well. That's okay. One of those two must be. There's one in here somewhere. What about our blue 7, 9s? See, they don't look into this region very well. One of these has to be. So one of these has to be a blue 7, 9. I guess that does actually give us, because we know the 7s and the 9s down here. We know one of these is a 7. So this has to be the other blue 7, which then forces this to be a 6, which finishes our 9s and 6s. Then maybe we can now take that and move forward. So we know none of those are 9s, none of these are 9s, so one of these two is, which gives us an X-wing. So there's a 9 in one of these. What else do we know? We just know what this digit is by the column. It must be a 6. Is that all our 6s? Yeah, it looks like it is. Okay. Now, where next? Okay, let's continue. So we know, okay, so we know there has to be an orange 7 or 9 in here, which means this is blue. We could have also looked that way for it, which means there's an orange 7 or 9 over here. This can't be, well, this can't be 9, but this can't be 7. What has to go down here? It has to be a 3 and a 5. I guess what we can say is that we cannot have these two be a 3, 5 pair, because we create a 3, 5 X-wing, and then 3 and 5 would have to go in here. They would have to equal 12. So this just has to be a 3 or a 5. And one of these is a 7 or a 9. Now this one can't ever be 7. Let's say this one can't ever be 9. But they could be the other way around. What's this guy gotta be? It's another 3, 5, or 7. And then this is going to be the last of those. So this is either 3, 5, or 9. This one's gotten a little tricky, just having to finish off trying to find our coloring. So we're going to know that one of these is orange, one of these is blue. And we know that none of, oh no, we don't know that one. One of these two is orange. One of those is blue. Again, we know none of these are blue. So one of these must be blue. We know that this one can't be blue because we just said one of these two has to be. Maybe I just need to do my little markings with color types here to get this stuff going. We know this can't be blue because of that guy. Was that accurate? Yes, it was. Okay, so this is a blue 7 or 9. We can get rid of that notation. Now, one of these has to be blue. And whatever this digit is, it goes here. These are the same. What does that do for me? This can't be a 9 because it sees both of these. So if these can't be 7 or 9, this can't be 7 or 9, which means this is our orange 7, 9. We already knew the blue one had to go over here. And this one can't be blue because that one is. So this is the blue. Okay, this is the, okay, and there we finally get down to it. It just got to coloring. Blues are 9s. Oranges are 7s. So there's a lot of prep work to get to that, but it worked. This can't be a 9, so this is our blue 9. Get rid of all that. And we know this now is a 7, so these must be 5s. Make sure that was accurate. That's a 5, 3, 5. This is not a 9. This is a 3. This is not a 5, so this is. That means that's a 5 and a 3. This just has to be a 7, which means that this is a 3. That's not a 3, so this is. Again, I know I had a reasoning for that, but my brain is so cluttered I've forgotten if that's accurate, so I just don't want to mess that up. These have to be from 5, 7, and 8. Neither of these is 7, so this is. That 8 means that is 5, so I was correct there. Okay, so that is 5. That's 5. Now we can hopefully get this thing finalized. This has to be 7. This has to be 8 and 7. You must have a 2 and a 4 that have helped out here. Yep, there it is, 4. And this one also, we could have just used that value. 4 and 2. And let's check. And I've screwed something up. How did I do that? Hold on. It's probably just a mark that I followed that I shouldn't have. This has to be 5. This has to be 7. That's where I messed it up. This has to be the 8. That is an 8. That 2 again gives us 4 and 2. I could have very well also just accidentally clicked the double thing and screwed it up. So 2 and 4 and 8 and 7. And there we go. You saw the puzzle solutions correct. Okay, well that took a little longer than it should have, but it really gets you down to the point where sometimes you really just have to mark with coloring to be able to see some, at least I have to. I'm sure some of you can see this stuff without all this, but my brain doesn't work that way sometimes. So anyway, excellent puzzle. Struggled a little bit, but we got there in the end, so that's what matters. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed that one. If you did, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.